Hello and welcome back to another episode of the FNtasia podcast, episode 69.
Yeah!
It's a big one. It's a massive one.
Just me? All right, yeah. Well.
We know what you like, mate. Guys, Happy New Year. It's good to be back.
Absolutely.
We've made it. We survived 2025 and we are here in 2026 for more of your listening pleasure. Today I'm joined by... Have we ever been more back? We will be even more back soon. We'll be even more back soon. But today I'm joined by two lovely gentlemen. I have the wonderful Teddy Moon here with me. Today I have the big dog Resub as well. Boys, are you feeling rejuvenated for the new year?
Absolutely. Last January, I took the entire month off because I was like, I'm sick of this. I'm doing nothing. I'm going to sit in my little hole. I sat and played RuneScape for the entire last January. It was awesome. It was so hard to get back into work in February after that. This time, took like a little week just to relax, did some like study and all that kind of stuff in it. And I feel like I'm actually like more hyped to work, get into Fortnite, learn, make some great content than, I don't want to say than ever, because that's definitely not true, but like than any time I can remember recently. So yeah, definitely feeling good.
Yeah, I'm
and yourself, Teddy?
Right now. I feel great, you know? I feel the air more intensely, you know? Streams miles and miles away. You know?
Great.
Even on a cloudy day, I feel the warmth of the sun in my lungs. So, yeah, I'm incredible.
The poetry has already started in 2026. Well, look, I'm feeling great as well. I'm very excited. And I am excited not just because it's a new year and so, you know, it's a time where everyone's looking to better themselves and lock in and get into a flow or whatnot. But we have a very exciting year of Fortnite competitive on our hand. We have a bunch of exciting tournaments, a bunch of LAN events, just plenty to be happy about in the world of competitive Fortnite. But you know, we can never be satisfied. And so today, we posed a question to you, our lovely listeners, which we will answer and which you guys have answered, which we'll discuss today. And that question is, what is one thing you want to see in Fortnite in 2026? It can be anything. It could be something related to, you know, a change Epic Game could make when it comes to gameplay or collabs or tournaments. It could be something you want to see from your favorite player or someone in the community. It could be anything at all that you just really want to happen in 2026. Do you guys have something top of mind? I'm not going to ask you just yet, but you guys...
I do. You know, I have 5 top of mind.
Okay.
I've come well prepared.
Can you match his 5, Teddy?
Not only can I match his 5, I have 6.
Oh, wow. Wowza, we're spoiled. Okay, well, let's start off with some of the community answers first. Resub did a lovely tweet for us, which he kind of botched, but
I did botch that,
fault.
and then I couldn't edit it because it was too late to change it. But
it's fine. It's fine. We got some answers regardless that we can definitely use here. The first one: what's one thing you want to see Fortnite do in 2026? And pro player Malibuka said, more victory cups, please.
You know, it's sometimes really difficult to tell what players are thinking. Sometimes you just have to read the exact words and then do the opposite of that, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes sarcasm is not properly conveyed through text. You know, sometimes you message someone and you're like, oh, maybe that sounded a little harsh what I said there. It didn't come across as a joke. But if I said it in person, it would really come across as a joke. In this instance, it could be coin flip. Malibuka, I've heard, loves victory cash cups. I hear he's like one of the biggest
big fan.
Huge fan.
Number one advocate.
And that's why he said here
cups.
He's looking for more victory cups. Not only did he say more victory cups, he actually said more victory cups, please.
Please.
So he's actually pleading to Epic Games to increase the amount of victory cups. Exactly.
He asked so nicely. And you know, you guys know, obviously, you know, Russian people, they love a bit of sarcasm, right? And in this case, he is being sarcastic. I just wanted to start off a bit like...
He wasn't being dead ass? Bro wasn't being dead ass.
He wasn't dead ass, bro. He was not dead ass.
On baby, he wants more. I'm telling you.
On baby, on Bible. Look, his good friend and former teammate, Panzer, said, one thing I want to see in Fortnite do in 2026, bullet drop.
Very, very... Well, how could I describe this opinion? Smart. No, not really.
Bullet drop was very topical when we were trying to have the conversations around how do you stop surge trading and storm surge. I've not heard the buzzword bullet drop in a bit, but it was relevant for a period in time.
I think it's... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut right into
No.
I think, genuinely, the game is at its best competitively when bullet drop is in it for a multitude of reasons. I'm not going to go into too in depth, but the one is that those people who sit and spray you from a mile away are just instantly nerfed. In any game mode, it makes that so much better. But obviously, most people don't really like bullet drop for the casuals. I don't think it's good for the game on a whole. But I will say I enjoyed playing competitive the most when bullet drop was in.
I think I go either way. But what I do not like is when they put one random item that's hit scan in the game, like they did with that avatar item. In, the season Peterbot and Poyo popped off. So as long as they pick something and stick to it, I'm fine. But I've said it a few times. I just hate when the meta revolves around like you have to have 2 or 3 items, and if you don't have them, your game is wrapped. So if they do put bullet drop in, then they have to commit to it across every item that they put in competitive. Either way, I just want consistency.
Let us know in the comments what you think. It's a very divisive one. Panzer had 6 replies, and like one of them, it was literally like, yes, we need bullet drop back. Hell no. Actual good take. Ew. W. It was just very
50-50.
split. Yeah, very, very split.
You can't please all the people all the time.
You can't.
Nobody knows that more than Epic Games, to be completely honest.
They've had their fair share of that. What's one thing you want to see Fortnite do in 2026? And friend of the show, Somebody's Gun said, better support for up-and-coming players so that we build the new generation while still hyping up the current one.
What would you what do you think that would mean? Because I agree.
It
would be great that if we do have that, but I don't know what that would look like because we have a lot of things that those level players can play already and do well.
Yes.
So what's that look like?
That's exactly how I was going to frame the question to you. I was going to say, this is an interesting point, but what does better support look like to you guys? In your opinion, what does better support for these players look like? I think it's an interesting time in Fortnite. It's very clearly a transition period where we do have a new up-and-coming generation. We have a lot of these cracked young kids who've come up. We have a lot of the established, old guard who some are still hanging around, some have started to decline, and you can see the interest is tailing off. So it is a very sensitive time and a time where we do need to build up these stars. But what does better support look like?
I have a take. And I'm going to.
What is your take?
Now. Okay, so first of all, it's like, what does support mean? What does up and coming mean? The platform of Twitter, of X, is not made for nuance and detail. So just like putting that kind of like vagueness aside, what I would like to see more of is the veterans of the scene do more direct mentorship of younger players. Maybe this can be streaming. Maybe this is, like the Venners of the world playing kind of like the random filler tournaments with up-and-coming players to give them a little bit more name recognition. Like I think there's a lot of things you can do informally in the community that the kind of the veterans of our game, the Mongrels, the Savages, the Clixes, the Boogas, Booga's kind of like, he plays the tournaments maybe, but he's kind of like not doing much in the community other than gambling. So I'd like to see more of that.
But that doesn't benefit those players. That's the problem. Those players are at a detriment by helping all those up-and-coming players. So for them, they're increasing their competition. So it's like, they intentionally do the complete opposite, where they gatekeep it and they try to keep it within their small group so they can keep, the tier ones here. It's very rare to see, a tier one go out and pick up a more up-and-coming player, like almost for the gatekeeping reason at all. The fact that, like, say, Queasy's now playing with Rax is one of the first examples I maybe think of in a while where like a tier 1 player in EU anyways picked up someone else. I'm sure there's other examples. It's probably a horrible lie of a sentence to make, but that's someone who's under 20 or 30k earned or whatever. It's quite like a massive drop off for that.
You know what they say though? Fear is the mind killer.
Oh.
You shouldn't fear. You should go ahead, Levin.
I think it's interesting because we've obviously seen, like you alluded to, Reese, like the gatekeeping in the past with like friendship groups and stuff. And a lot of that stuff has dissipated in some ways, at least to how it was before. But you're right, like it doesn't serve to benefit the old guard. I think in terms of what will hopefully help with what somebody's going to suggesting is like us having so many like events and opportunities, right? Like having the Summit LAN, Globals, Reload Elite Series LAN, like those three are sort of big events for these sort of newer stars to shine and get an opportunity, right? You have your moment on the LAN stage, you give yourself an opportunity to become more memorable, right? One thing I've been talking about wanting to see more of in Fortnite as a whole from this next new generation is just more personality, which I feel like is lacking. Like I feel like we've had a bunch of like these cool players who have come up of late. A lot of them don't captivate people in the same way some of the old guys did. And so, you know, you can be an amazing player and we can consider you the best, but if we're not attached to your personality, it's almost harder for you to stick around, right? Like the guys who were at the top and had personality that had dips, we just naturally give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Because we're more attached to their personality, right? Yeah. I don't want to name and shame people and call people out, but like there's players who, in terms of their public narrative, have been given more leeway than others. And it's not because the other people got slated, they just got forgot about because we just don't care about them because like, we don't even know these people, right?
For sure.
So I want to see more personality, hopefully giving players more opportunities to do things in person, like more lands, more content, more media day opportunities, things like that helps bring that out in a way. Hopefully with the Reload Elite Series thing and LAN and orgs being incentivized to get into the game, maybe that helps in terms of some of these bigger orgs are going to platform some of these people. Wishful thinking, I know. But you know, who knows, right? Like I saw like a rumor of, right, I think it was like T1 want to pick up Deemish and Dharm, right? And that's like a massive org. Like, you know, hopefully they could do some like content with Deemish and Dharm. Probably wouldn't, because typical orgs, I think. But like, do you know what I mean? For an example of like the type of thing you want to see more of, because that's an example of two, you know, young stars who are the new generation, but we want to see more of their personalities, more of them, so that they become more established. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think it's those are all the right answers, right? Like I think it is hard. There's probably like we could spend a lot of time counting it. There's probably like 25, 30 players, maybe even more across NA and EU that could win FNCS, like conceivably. So that's a lot of people already for people to know and memorize and follow and be engaged with their storyline. So it's hard from an attention perspective to break in. So then what can you do? I think Levin made the point. More in person, more media days, more opportunities for these players to get interviewed, to get comfortable on screen, to get comfortable with content, right? The second one is kind of like new orgs come in that are either big name orgs in other sports, right? Akin to Gentlemates a few years ago, or, you know, you have some good like mid-tier orgs again, like the Limits or whatever of the world that are like pretty good at content and pretty good at showcasing like up and coming players. Maybe you tweak the qualifying format. I don't know. Like I remember when they had like more heats in 2021, like the 2021 qualifying format was quite long and much longer, and there was early qualification for some of the best teams. So it meant when you got to heats and some of these other qualifying rounds that all the attention was on these kind of like B-tier up and coming teams, whatever. So maybe people got more depth of ball knowledge that way, but probably way fewer people watch tournaments when like Peterbot's not in them or Buga's not in them, etc. So it's like
they were snooze, bro. They were snooze.
It's like a but those are probably like the three ways that you could see people getting more attention. But it is tough. Some people go out and grab the attention, right? It's the internet at a certain point. Like Chino, right? His stock up to the moon. He went out and he grabbed it, right? He didn't wait for an org to pick him up to promote him, or he didn't wait for Epic to interview him, right? He just, you know, buckled down and won FNCS.
I don't want to go on too big of a tangent, but you mentioned something there that's I think is really important, and it's something I've complained to Epic employees about many a time. People want to see the best players more, right? And it's funny because in sport, like in real life sport, this is becoming like an issue where players in a lot of sports feel like they're overplayed and there's too much going on. But in Fortnite, especially when you look at the FNCS format, we see the best players almost like as little as possible, right? Like the season where Vanya and them won, it was like they won like the first game of the heats or the semifinals, whatever the stage is called. Can't even remember myself now. And we didn't see them again till Grands. And obviously in Grands, and you see them, but, you know, again, with spectating and observers and 100 players, it's like, how much do you get to see these people? I would love for us to see the best players more and more, right? When you look at like a lot of tournaments style things in sports and other esports, you are seeing the best players more and more progressively through the competition. Whereas in Fortnite, we still haven't found like the way to do that that fits the format. You know, that also works in other ways as well that you need to consider. And that I think would help with what somebody's going to say. And it's like, some of these new stars, it's like, if they're that good, we also might not see them that much, right? Like, because again, they might like qualify really quickly in the group stage. And then in the finals, because they're not the bigger names, we're not spectating them as much in end games. And so we're just not seeing these people as much. And then bang, you have Dimash and Dom picks and they're like third place in the FNCS leaderboard. And you're like, damn, how did that happen? Like they had a crazy day too, but didn't even see much of it, right? It's like we don't get as much face time with these up and coming players in a way that is
maybe this is
as supportive.
Maybe this is a good segue. Maybe it's too late to do it this year, but maybe next year you can use, if the Pro-Am is a one-day tournament, you can use the other day, that weekend, to do like some kind of skills contest or a one-on-one, 64 one-on-one bracket or 2v2 zone wars bracket or something like that. Because, that's always a good way to be like, oh, this player like Josh Riley beat Clicks in a one-on-one, so he's like next up. Because it's skill and mechanics like precede placements. So that's generally how you hype the next round of players. So maybe Epic could do something like that. It would cost more money. You'd have to invite more people and bring more people. But like, one day could be kind of like the Fortnite purist 1v1, 2v2 tournament, whatever, 32 player bracket, 32 team bracket, etc. And then the next day you can do kind of like the fun Pro-Am, etc. Because when you have all those creators there for the Pro-Am, especially if they come early or stay, some will come just day of and just do the Pro-Am and leave. But the Courage JDs and the Nick A30s all being there and be like, look how crazy this guy is. Look how crazy that elimination was, right? And shining this big magnifying glass on Fortnite competitive, that's like a really easy way. That's like a really easy way to get a huge attention wave on the game and on these up and coming players. So maybe that's the way to do it.
I think on the opposite side of that, I think we'll move on from this after this because this has been a great topic, but we're elongating it. However, the one thing I've said that needs to be done for a long time is there needs to be an easy way to figure out who's actually doing well and like how they're doing it, right? So as an example, I was thinking of doing a video at the end of last year, which was just going to be like some of the best up and coming players to watch for 2026. It was just going to be an extra channel video. And I sat and I was like, how do I figure this out? And then the natural...
Ask Coach Harry.
Well, Ask Coach Harry is a good way to do it, yeah. The way I thought about then is you go, okay, so I check like power ranking leaderboards and I go, okay, who's been doing what? And then it's like, you see the PR and then you're like, do I know a name there? And then you can click on them and you go through and see where they've played. It's quite a laborious process. I feel like there's a real gap opportunity there for like, say, like a Syrian. This might be what Boop's working on. I know he's doing something. But like, imagine at the start of a season, you can literally just be like, who's doing good? And you go on one website and then it shows you like a breakdown of who's doing good, who's doing what, and it's a filterable. There's not just power ranking. There's a lot more to its stats, and you can easily just look into it and be like, oh, this guy's good because of this. This is all. That would be sick. That would be also a good way that if you're an up-and-coming player who repeatedly places well, there's a visualized way to see that. That's a little bit more in depth than just power ranking. So someone get on that, please.
Fortnite's still yet to have our HLTV.org for the Counter-Strike fans, or for Valorant fans, VLR.gg, right? Like, we have a couple different websites that serve some of the purposes of those. Like, Assyrian's become more prominent. Fortnite Tracker's obviously the classic one, but it's so limited in a lot of ways. I think KXR has tried to do something of late. Like, I know Boop is cooking something up. So hopefully this year we get that. We've moved on completely, but hopefully that's one thing we want to see. That is one of the things we want to see, right? Someone, really take over that market and like make the, all-in-one website for competitive Fortnite and really being able to follow what's going on, figure out who's good, who's doing what. That would be really nice.
Do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'd love to see some of that. I'd love to see someone do it. All right, let's get into another one. I saw a good one here I wanted to get into. We had somebody who said, one thing I want to see in competitive Fortnite in 2026 is a quality of life change, custom HUDs.
Ooh.
And I am a big fan of this. I have been dying to see this in Fortnite for so long because it bugs me that every single tournament looks the same. I watch other esports and every tournament looks different just because depending on who the broadcaster is and who's the tournament organizer is, they have a custom HUD that looks cool and they play around with things. And I get excited every CS major to see what the tournament organizer has done with the HUD to really make it exciting and fun and like actually a better viewing experience. I would love if when I'm watching the Milk Cup, the HUD is different to when I'm watching the Global Championships. I don't think it should look the same. I think there should be some differences there. It's why I'm a big fan of, and again, I'm not just blowing his horn because he works with us, Quartz. Quartz, when he was working with War Legends a lot back in the day, they like tried to do a bunch of stuff with customers, and I think Quartz still does some of that stuff now. Like I think if you watch the Havoc viewing parties, like they have some custom elements that they've like worked into like the HUD to like make it different. And like I've always wanted to see people push the boundaries more on that, and we just haven't had it. And I know it's because Epic don't allow custom HUDs, so please give us that.
For Blast, if they're selling sponsorships, right? You could toss in a sponsorship right on the screen. Maybe you know that this big pot was brought to you by Pepsi Max. Right?
Yes.
Refreshment, you know. There's lots of opportunities for.
Well, they can do that without, like, they can do that already without the custom. Like, when we're talking custom HUD function, I'm talking about like making the actual like the bar where it shows your big pots and your minis and all that, like that, the ability to customize how that looks and how that works, right? Would be really nice.
It's funny when you said that. When you read out the answer to start with, I didn't assume this from a broadcast perspective at all. Because my first thought when you said custom HUD was, I want to change my crosshair. You know, it wasn't.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that's
right. A good point.
So, who left that comment? Was it someone from? I took
it a whole different way.
I was gonna say, was that from a broadcasting perspective, or was that just a player who was talking about like, I want to have a custom crosshair, or
this guy is his name is Soy. Shout out to Soy. He's like a big fan compared to Fortnite. He tweets at us a bunch. So I don't know what perspective he's looking at. Maybe he was just talking in game. Maybe he was talking viewing. So I always take a viewing experience because that's what I care about. But
well,
also in game,
There's one thing that I wish I could customize about the HUD, which is the Storm Surge logo, man. So not only when the logo pops up, maybe this is sort of just the vision impaired like myself, but you know the when it says Storm Surge active, if you've played a game and you're in an active Storm Surge lobby, this is my age showing. When it pops up at the top of your screen, if you're peeking over something, it's perfectly where you'd want to look. So it literally covers all the places where I want to look where the players are. I want to be able to move that. I've put that to Epic a few times, being like, please, can we remove this? Because when Storm Surge is not active, it still will say Storm Surge active, and it's just in the way. So yes, let's customize the HUD so we can change that.
Yeah, I don't need players downloading dodgy apps to change their crosshairs. Like, just let me change my crosshair in the game.
Well, there's also like certain times mythics don't show up that players have them in tournaments, and there's all these different drawbacks to the way they do it right now. So let's do it. Epic, put it on the roadmap.
And
tweet at Tim.
Soy also gave another one, which again, I'm just a very big fan of this. I'm just giving the ones I really agree with here. But Soy said, one thing I want to see in compared to Fortnite in 2026, which obviously is not possible because we already kind of know, or maybe it is possible. But he said, or they said, a Brazil/Asia LAN would be cool. He's not for he wanted to qualify not because I play that region, but 100%.
Yeah,
I want to LAN in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. I want to LAN in Tokyo, Japan. Let's get a LAN somewhere that's not EUNA.
Yeah, I think in Brazil you'd get a real good viewing, like an actual crowd would be insane. I would love to see, especially because like as we talked about, was it on the award show? I think we'd say how big, we realized how like big Brazil is getting and how the viewership is. So
it's not a small region. It's
not a small region, man.
It's just a region.
So I'd imagine actual like live viewership would be good. I don't know what it would be like in Tokyo. I have no idea. Like, because obviously Fortnite's nowhere near as big there. I don't understand like how, or I couldn't guess like how big it would be. I would go so I could go to Tokyo and buy Pokemon cards. That'd be sick. But
Brazil's also in the North American time zone too, so that's like a no-brainer
True.
time to run an event because that's just a proven time that a lot of the audience will watch. Japan, not as much, but a Tokyo land would be really cool.
I want to add one place to that list. When I watched Pokemon Worlds last year, the year before, Hawaii. That's where they did it. What a place to go. I mean, crowds would be nothing, but I will go to Hawaii to go to Hawaii. Like, hell yeah. That sounds awesome.
just was a holiday.
I want a holiday, yeah.
You'll say, I want to go to Hawaii, then you'll go and look at the hotel prices.
Oh, that bad?
Never mind. It's probably like a 5-star hotel in Hawaii is like 5 times as much as a 5-star hotel in Europe.
I'm getting a 1-star and just sleeping in a tent or something, maybe.
Damn. Okay. Well, yeah, give us more lands and cool places, right? Obviously, like going back to where else do we need to tick off in the US specifically? Because we've done LA now, we've done New York. Is there anywhere we need to go? Can we just avoid the US? We've done Texas now. Like, can we just avoid the US?
That dead country, man. No good crowds.
What about Miami? That'd be good. Miami land.
I guess a Miami land could be all right. I mean, I'd love a Miami land.
Well,
get me out of Miami for a week, guys. I'm vibing.
Hey, man, Will Smith wrote a good song about that place for a reason, you know?
What about Toronto? I wonder what you Toronto. I mean, we got a lot of great Canadian Fortnite players, you know. So a lot of
Toronto's like the 3rd biggest city in North America, 3rd or 4th biggest city in North America. It's beautiful, absolutely.
It'd be cool.
You probably want to do it in the spring or the summer.
Definitely.
However, like it's not a bad option. Epic, it's not a bad. You know, Rally was pretty good. I get they probably don't want to do it again, but
I mean, that's just like home bias. Like, oh yeah, Epic Games were based here. Let's do Rally. You know. I also wasn't invited to that one, so I'm sorry. Where else do we need to tick off? Right, just generally speaking, what are some big locations we need to do lands? Obviously, we need to go Germany. That's like a big esports one.
London.
Yeah, we've not done a big official Fortnite land in London.
They will never do one in London. I can tell you right now. They'll never.
But it's like
so expensive.
I know why they won't. It's expensive, but like they should just do it at some point.
Yeah.
Like, they
it's
actually
going to be so
should
expensive.
just do it. You know,
What about Rome in the Colosseum?
Oh, that okay. Here's the thing. If you do one in Rome, that is the place where you have to get the guy to drop in, like Levin to drop in from the like, because you've got the open Colosseum at the top. Like, you know, all these other venues, like you can't get him to skydive in, but if you do it in the Colosseum, someone's skydiving into that.
Skydive in.
They once played a college basketball game, UNC versus Michigan State, on a military aircraft carrier.
Oh my god.
It sounds intense. That's crazy.
That would be pretty cool.
Where else do we need to go? I would love us to go back to Poland. I know we've technically done Poland because we did Katowice with ESL. But I would love us to go back to Poland because Polish Fortnite is massive and they got a bunch of fans there. Brazil, I definitely want to do. Yeah. And then outside of that, I'd be happy anywhere, you know?
Serbia, Croatia's
what's the location in Serbia?
Spain
would be a good one. Spain's always a good one for events. Spain's always a good one.
They've done a lot in like Saudi and Dubai and stuff, so we don't need to do that. Singapore could be good.
I'd love to go back to Singapore. Singapore was great. It'd be harder with crowd there, but Singapore was a
if you know Fortnite Mobile starts bouncing, that's the time to do Singapore.
They should do like not a proper land in Australia, but they should do like the laser beam, Aussie Antics, whatever. Like just get all the creators out there.
Australian Open.
Do like a meme tournament, but like get some real some juice out there.
I mean, with how many Australian people they have, like it wouldn't actually be the worst place in the world for Pro-Am. Because you would still be able to get a lot of like if you just leverage all the Australian people and go, we're doing an event here. Like you'd get fans show up. Like all the Australian people linked to Fortnite could fill up a really big place. It's just getting the other people from around the world to want to go to Australia would be a ball ache. So many antics per capita over down under. Okay. We have some good ones there. I actually also pulled some from Fortnite's official tweet, because you know that every year they do their tweet of like, what do you want to see? What are your wishes? What's your goals? And an interesting one from Feldy. He said, Clicks FNCS win. Is this the year? Do we see a year? Do we see a possible? He got so close last year. Is this the year where Clicks finally gets the job done and wins an FNCS? Is that on the cards?
Look, if you've got to get your manager commenting and praying on Twitter, it's not happening. Let's be real. You know,
never say never. Never say never. But I think trios is probably a better chance for Clicks because you can just build a better team.
I think. I was going to say, like, on a serious note, I think if the top teams in NA are fragmented right now, they've fallen apart.
That's what I'm going to say.
You know, there's an opportunity for a team to swoop in there, a team who's been grinding. You know, we said last year, when Clicks did well, like, this is the best chance he has to win an FNCS. But low-key, you know, with a lot of the top teams right now, just switching teammates, like we see Peterbot switch up right now. You know, Cole's maybe playing Moveno if he ends up going over, all this kind of stuff. Like, the actual top talent in NA is kind of fragmented, so there is an opportunity for Clicks and Higgs to, like, sneak in and go for it. So I think this might be their best chance.
I think there's a world where, you know, they're fighting for it, you know, come one of these major finals throughout the year. Like, there's a world where, like, they are super close. They get back to that point where it's a race to the finish line against another duo. And whether or not they seal the deal,
just get packed in by Peterbot again. That's it.
If Peterbot
who's the best duo?
If Peterbot's being dead ass, I have a topic about Peterbot later on, but if Peterbot's being dead ass right now,
I couldn't even tell you the teams on NA right now.
Neither can I, man.
That much of a mess.
I couldn't even tell you.
No Clicks and Higgs.
Veno's good. Veno and Cold is good.
Veno, is that a real duo?
Yeah, he's here. He's in London, so
he's still in the UK,
Richie
man.
and Agers, that's a pretty good team, right?
Richie and Agers is a good team for sure.
Yeah, but there's no absolute wagons, right? Acorn and Bolts, Kanata and Arc, right? It's still Kanata and Arc.
Kanada's been playing crazy. I saw
some,
saw like a clutch from Kanada in Reload or something, or in a Victory Cup or something, and I was like, damn, he's primed right now. Awesome. There's more parity in NA right now. At least that's what it feels like. So that's a good thing for the entertainment folks.
I mean, would a Clicks online FNCS win even really feed the families though? You know, like
it would.
But like,
it would.
It's like, say if Thomas HD wins an FNCS at this point, you're going to be like, yeah, but it wasn't globals. You didn't win a globals. So, like, did you really win it? Yeah, it's like, is that at this point no one cares that much about the online FNCS in comparison to winning a LAN. So you know, if it's the same thing.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
I think for Thomas HD, you know, if we were still in the YouTube slop video era, it would be like, finally happened. The best player to never, like, this would be, be hyped up.
Bro saying YouTube slop like Reese isn't ready to cook up that video, mate, with a banger.
Best player to never won an FNCS has been a title inside my docs for like 2 years.
Slop video,
I did that 4 years ago or something.
But thing is, you got to wait for him to win an FNCS, and then you have the conclusion of the story.
I'm like me. I'm always 2-3 years early, right?
I think if Clicks was to win an FNTS, it would feed families. Like, it would, maybe not for the staunch EU fans who are, you know, stuck in their ways like yourself, but
don't take yourself out of that. Don't take yourself out of that.
I would be hyped if Clicks were I'd be dancing, you know.
I'd be hyped, but I'd be like, yeah, it's good. That was great. You finally managed to do it, but you know, there's been so many FNCS wins online at this point where I'm like,
yeah. I mean, there's been like 30s in the 30s now. But here, can I ask a question in terms of the family feeding power rank, right? What's giving the most calories to the most people? Okay. Clicks and Higgs winning, or Mongrel and Savage winning?
Oh, Mongrel Savage, sure.
It's Mongrel and Savage, unfortunately.
Because they're not anywhere near as close as, you know, Clicks and Higgs could be to winning it either. So like the slapback would be insane.
The shock factor of it is just insane,
The comeback's crazy, whereas Clicks has obviously just kind of been here the whole time. You know, in up and down levels of grind, of course, but like it's just been nowhere near as tumultuous as like the Mongrels situation, for example.
Fair.
Yeah, but also we're going to be called dumb EU bias by some NA fan.
That's just
but
true.
That's fine.
Though, like,
I know. I think it's just facts. That it would be It would feed fam. It would be because it's less likely to happen, which is credit to clicks, if anything, right? But it's just less likely to happen.
And when Mongrel won the first time, it did feed a lot of families, right?
True.
And the manner of it that season was
that was awesome.
Crazy.
That was awesome.
All right, we'll do a couple more before I ask you guys yours.
Mm-hmm.
We had, I just lost it. Shifted Reality said, something I'd want to see in 2026, an actual good solo format. The current combination of Victory Cup and solo series is not it. It's too difficult of a goal for the lower tier players, and there's nothing for half the season if you don't make heats. The reward is so little for the higher tier players as well.
Yeah, is the current one still a Victory Cup in the finals? I can't remember what this one is like this year. I think it is. Do you go through? Is it a set lobby in the finals now? I actually can't even remember what the current one is like. Last season, yeah, because I can't quite remember what it was. Like, it needs to finish in a set lobby. If it finishes in a set lobby, that's great. I can't remember what it is. This.
He raises an interesting point in that. Are we at a point now where it's not satisfying enough for the lower tier players, and at the higher tier players, it's not rewarding enough for it to be satisfying and as entertaining either?
So I checked for a second there. That was the format last season with Victory Cups and stuff.
Okay.
So this season opens into heats into like a 2-day set lobby finals where. So it's actually basically just FNCS.
Just FNCS solos.
So it's actually pretty awesome. The only problem with this format has been the fact that like to get to heats, it's like the best of your 4 qualifiers. So you have to do your 1 best. So it's like you basically just have to like absolute banger 1 week and then that's it. And there's not a lot to play from the other ones. I disagree with this take because I actually really liked this format when I was playing. I played the first 2 weeks and I thought it was great. And then I stopped playing solos. So I disagree with this. I actually think this is a banger format. I just think most people aren't kind of paying attention to it. Maybe a little change into how you actually qualify to heats, because then that would open it up to more players. Because to get into like the top, having like one of the top 400, I can't remember how many go to heats, of playstyles across all of the best tournaments all time. That's like very, very, very tough. So yeah, maybe open up to slightly more, but I actually think the format's really, really good.
Do you have any thoughts, Teddy?
Not really.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, one I think you might agree with, Reese.
Yeah.
Is Cham, who said, some sort of daily solo tournament similar to daily duos in Chapter 2.
Yes.
Now, you might not make the comparison to Chapter 2, but I know you were a big fan of the daily ranked cups we had at the end of last year.
Yes, I need to message Epic about this because this is actually some feedback I wanted to give from last season where, they're doing all the crazy amount of tournaments towards the end of the, just towards December just to get people playing and stuff. And because there was the Unreal Cup, they hosted daily solo rank cups every single day. Now, those are not like crazy cups by any means, but there is literally no reason not to just do that every day forever until rank 2.0 comes out. So like it was like 2 p.m. till 5 p.m., 3 hours, jump in, play a cup. I played, I think, 2 of them. And it was just because I had some time that day. I was relaxing. I was like, hell yeah, I'll just play a tournament, It's not the most stacked games, but it was a bit of fun. It was a bit of practice. It was a good practice for solos and things like that. If they were every day, I could definitely see myself doing like playing 30 days of them for a video or something. That would be really, really cool. But I think it just gives you something to do middle of the day. Like, don't want to play ranked, don't want to play something else. Just jump into Rank Cup. Why not? It's some form of tournament. No prize pool. There's no negative to it in terms of like cash. Not giving anything out. So yeah, I 100% agree. Banger take.
The final one. I think I found Harry's ult. One thing I want to see in 2026, an actual good rank system.
Yeah.
Rank 2.0, please save us. Whatever you are, whenever you are, please save us.
They better be cooking up something diabolical with rank 2.0. We've talked about it a lot. I don't know what there'll be to make it really actually good.
How can it get that much better?
Yeah, that's the problem.
It feels like every suggestion I've ever heard about ranked 2.0 is good, but it's marginal.
Yes.
Compared to the core problem, which is it's super
people don't care.
But it's also super hard to queue up 100 people.
Yeah.
With some haste, who are like all similar skill levels and are kind of like-minded about how they want to approach the game. Like
I think that
challenge is really hard.
That the biggest thing is like I don't think even getting people that close to skill level is as much of a problem. I think it is obviously a problem. You're not going to make competitive like tournament style elo matchmaking. That's never going to work. I just think the problem is trying to get people to care about it. Like you just jump into rank and you're like, oh, I'm just going to W key. Even if you just die every game, you're like, I'm just going to W key anyway. Why not? There needs to be severe penalties. There needs to be like a reason why people would be careful. Oh, I'm going to rank. I'm playing bad today. Got to be careful about playing some ranked. So, they've got to give like a real reason rather than like if I suck, which I do, and I'm having a bad day, I'm just going to go into ranked and still just die over and over again. And there's like, well, what's the negative? Like, there's no reason to do that. And that has been the case for so long that changing that is going to be really, really difficult into actually changing people's ideas and their mindsets surrounding ranked. And I think the biggest way to do that was when ranked was restarted, when it changed from arena to ranked. That was the point.
That was the time to do it.
The mentality shift. But they kind of missed that window, so I don't really know how they're going to do that with ranked 2.0. I hope they figure out a good way to do it. There's a lot of good suggestions, as you said, though. Most of them are pretty marginal.
Because what works for like League of Legends, right, is it's way more punishing.
Mm-hmm.
Each rank has like a certain distribution of the player base that's capped to be in that rank, right? So only 0.1% of the player base can be whatever the highest League of Legends rank is. It's escaping me right now. Like I think if you did that with Fortnite, the ranked mode would be way better, but I just don't know what the blowback would be. Like I think there probably are a lot of people. It's like, this is going to be a bad analogy. It's kind of like if you're I don't know, like force someone to go on a diet and exercise a lot. It's like obviously the right thing to do, but sometimes people just don't. Sometimes people just like don't. Sometimes people just don't want to accept it right away.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They want to live in.
This is actually
no, it's great.
Of complacency that they were before. Right?
They have to accept it themselves.
Yeah.
And make that decision.
Some people just want to go in ranked, turn their brain off, and W key, and then whatever. If they die, they die.
Yeah.
And if it is punishing, like Fortnite is way more RNG than League, for instance, right? So like that's definitely going to piss a lot of people off too. If it's like, oh, I ranked out of Unreal because I got stream sniped, or I ranked out of Unreal because like some guy was doing the stupidest strategy of all time and like followed me around the map or something like that, right? There's just like so many different nodes for insane rage. But yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's definitely the biggest needle moving thing they can do, right?
Well,
just make it.
You made a very good point there. I did have a conversation with someone at one point, and they said that the main reason that they think ranked isn't doing that is because they actually think if ranked had really good, high quality, high stake games, that people wouldn't play it as long. They think that the people would get too frustrated and they would stop playing, and it would reduce the player counts if it was actually too competitive. Because you have a couple bad games, you get off. Right now, if you have a couple bad games ranked, you might still play for 2-3 hours or whatever. I wouldn't, because I hate ranked, but if it was stacked games and you're playing really bad, you might just get off if you're, trying to play something that's too good and you're getting very, very punished. And I think, obviously, we're in the minority. Like, I would love that. I think that would be amazing. I think there'd be a large percentage of people who might be put off by that.
So then Epic needs to fix pubs and ranked simultaneously, right? Because then pubs needs to become better. So then people can turn their brain off, play a somewhat competitive game in pubs, and then ranked is a completely different experience, right? And people complain about pubs too. Like I see all the streamers like Courage and shit, they're always complaining about pubs being filled with bots and this and that, etc. So it almost feels like to make it all work, there's like a holistic change that needs to be made to the game.
Yeah, the problem is like what you alluded to, Reese, of the actual trends of player behavior and engagement don't align with the popular narratives most of the time.
Yeah.
Which is why I wonder what would be like an experience of ranked that people would be satisfied with. I know personally, in the roads to grinding for the Unreal Cup, I enjoyed ranked. Not because there's parts I didn't enjoy, but I didn't enjoy them because of the pressure of trying to get Unreal in time for the Unreal Cup. But the actual quality of the games, like it was like the games were stacked. I was getting like 20 move-ins in ranked games. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think it was possible to have like actual moving zones and like there's loads of players and people boxing up and like trying to like lock in. And if every time I queued up for ranked, like that was the experience, I would like that. Like that would
Agreed.
be cool. It was like a middle ground between. It's not quite like you're queuing up for Noble or an actual tournament, but it's more than like a typical just regular game of battle royale.
It was like a first game of a tournament where you're all on 0 points.
Yes,
Or you'll get like a 20 move, and sometimes it'll be more, sometimes less. Everyone's pretty horrific. There might be one good player in the game.
Yeah,
It's like, that is actually some of the most fun games to play for.
I think that would be
skill level,
fine.
yeah.
If
I agree with
ranked
that,
was that at like higher-ish ranks, like I think that would be fine. I'm not one of the people anymore, because maybe at one point I did think this, but I'm not one of the people anymore who thinks like ranked needs to be like the highest level of ranked. Like Unreal games need to look like a scrim. Like no, they don't need to look like that.
So then maybe we can say this. Maybe we can say, Levin, you made the right point, right? Which is Epic has more data and insight into player behavior than we could ever possibly imagine to have, right? Like they're probably like looking at some of the things that we say or on this podcast or on Twitter, and they're like laughing because they're like, the data basically probably shows the exact opposite in almost every single case. However, data doesn't always tell the truth, right? Data is just as prone to narratives, which is if you make the change to ranked, maybe the data suffers or you have a lot of volatility, but maybe over the long term it gets
it levels out.
It's like when you start out on YouTube, right? When I started making clutch up videos, the quality hasn't changed that much, which is maybe a bad thing, but the quality hasn't changed that much. But I used to get 500, 1,000 views or something, right? And then I was in the 100,000s of views on those old videos, got hundreds of thousands of views once the algorithm and the data kind of figured out that it actually was, content that people wanted to watch. So there always is this challenge in everything where the data that you see today
I
It was like Reese like coughing, but he muted
I
at
tried
the
to
start
mute
of
the
the
worst
cough.
time,
Yeah.
I missed the button the first time, but I had to press it again.
Well, I guess there's always something to be said that the data will never always show you what people want in the future, right? It's like the Henry Ford quote. If I asked people what they wanted, they would have asked me for a faster horse, right? Not a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a certain point that Epic needs to make a leap of faith that this will work and just fucking do it. And
Well, the fact that they're doing rank 2.0 suggests that they feel that way anyway, right?
Yeah.
The question is, are we pessimists or optimists? Is rank 2.0 successful? And briefly, what does success look like in your opinion?
Ooh.
I'll start with you, Reese.
I think it will be successful in that it will increase player counts. Will it be successful that it now ranked will be the #1 playlist over pubs? I don't think so, no. I just think it'll look like... So honestly, I think what it'll end up looking like is that game quality is probably exactly the same. Or very marginally better. I think it'd be very difficult to get, like, even the 20 movements we're talking about. Like, I think you've got five moving or something like that on average, even at higher levels from that. I just think what'll happen is that people will care slightly more because there'll be a top echelon where I do think they will make it percentage based or numbers based in ranked. It's like, I did remember speaking to someone a while ago from Epic about it, and they're basically like, there's no real reason why we can't have a certain number of people in each top rank. Like, why wouldn't there just be 100 people in a reel? There's no real, there's no real reason why we couldn't do it right now. Just that they haven't, or they've not thought of a good reason to do it, or they don't test it, whatever. I can't remember all the reasons. I won't obviously link everything. I'm just saying that, like, they've said that at least there's not a reason they can't do it. So I say that's one of the main things that was, like, put in, which I think... I've not spoken to anyone about it recently, but I think that's something that would make sense because it's been feedback a lot of the time. So I feel like you'll have an upper echelon of players who do grind to win more games. To do that, you'll have like a leaderboard of the top 1,500, and that will maybe make more average players interested in it. Maybe not to like massively bump up the numbers, but they'll see that there's a grind happening. There's a good live leaderboard that's moving all the time. Ooh, this guy's gone up. He's gone, that kind of stuff. That would be good. My actual main concern, which I find very interesting, that I don't think anyone has talked about yet, is the fact that if you change ranked a lot, will that also impact ranked reload? Because ranked reload is like the third biggest playlist, and it's it is that jump in W key game mode. You don't really care about winning for the most part. Obviously, some people do, and that varies massively depending on what level of skill you are. But it's fast paced, it's fighting, it's fun. So I wonder how much changing rank to rank 2.0 would actually impact rank reload, because if those games are really stacked, would that negatively impact that? And then you've actually made like a negative change overall.
Interesting.
It just depends what you view for like what's the best player well-being. Like it seems like.
What do you view for it? Is what I'm asking.
Here's what I think success could. Here's what I think success is, and there's probably a few answers. One, I do think that Epic should aim to have the games like you described, Levin, like 20 players in moving zone, like really intense, really stacked. Because once you taste that adrenaline one time, you'll be addicted to ranked, right? It won't matter. Like you'll play 50 ranked games to get that one beautiful end game again, right? Like that feeling cannot be beat in Fortnite, right? Just an amazing end game. It's just so exhilarating. It's so amazing. So to me, that's definitely one aspect of success. That with good matchmaking where you're not waiting a super long time in queues. But I also think at the lower ranks should mean more. Here's what I mean. I watched a video last December of Ludwig basically grinding and doing whatever it took to make platinum in League. And platinum's like 5 from the top or something, right? Platinum's not a super high rank, but it is like really amazing if you get platinum in League, right? Like people are like, well, okay, this guy can ball, right? Like that's a good player, right? Same thing with like StarCraft 2. If you ever played StarCraft 2, right? If you got platinum or diamond in StarCraft 2, they'd be like, holy shit, this guy can ball, right? Like I had a girl in my class, so I was like, oh, my brother's platinum in StarCraft, and I was like, wow, that's sick.
That's cool. He's a gamer.
Yeah. Imagine like, oh, he's platinum in Fortnite. You'd be like, this guy's shit, bro.
Yeah,
terrible. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's what actually needs to mean something, because the vast majority of people who play don't play ranked with the hopes that they're going to make Unreal. Just completely honest. Unreal is a, pretty small percentage, or should be a pretty small percentage. Like most people play ranked with the hopes that like they'll see progression in their game personally. That's what makes it addicting, right? If I get gold one season and then platinum one season, and that feels rewarding, that's what actually makes the median player want to play ranked. And then I go from platinum to diamond, and that feels rewarding. And like everyone will be like a clown, oh, Teddy, you're diamond, you suck. But that's what would feel rewarding. And it's like that's actually what needs to work in a ranked system for it to be effective, right? Like every rank needs to mean something. And I think like all this stuff around the leaderboard and stuff at the top, it's valid and it's really good. But most people, I think, like most people shouldn't think they could ever make Unreal, and they should be getting their rewards from ranked in some other way.
Well, I think making the top have like a certain amount of people in it makes that happen, because then all of those other good players naturally will go into the ranks below that. If you have limited amount of spots in the top 3 ranks, then it's like, if you're a really good player, you're not getting into them because you're going to be stuck in plat or in diamond or wherever that may be. But I think that's actually probably the best point about what would make it actually a good rank mode is, if you're in lower ranks, you got to fight your way out of them rather than just cruising on through.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too easy to get out. Like I've always just said, it should feel like you are playing against players of similar skill level. Like actually, like that shouldn't. So it should, and in that sense, it shouldn't be too easy to move out unless you are truly above those players of like that skill. Finding the balance between that, optimizing their games to get the like juice of the satisfying juice. I don't know what this is called, but every game has it. Like every game has like the juice. You know how in every game you can compare like something that's satisfying, like in Fortnite it's like the 200 pump, right? Whoa. In other games it's like, when you headshot, when you one tap someone in CS, right? There's like other versions in other games. The same thing often applies with like, the first time I ever played League, I'm not a big League person, so the League people listening will be like, oh, what a noob, right? But I just remember trying to get into League. The reason I kept going at it, I eventually stopped, but what kept me going at it is I had one game where I had like a Garen matchup in top lane where I was just dominating the guy. And it was like, this feels amazing. I need to keep doing this, right? In CS, again, it's like you have the one game where you're just like top fragging. Anytime the team comes to your site, that you just wipe them out. And it's like you keep trying to chase that game. In Fortnite, like, my gut feeling tells me it's like what we're talking about, of like you know, the 20 moving zone where you're the guy on high ground, just like wiping out the lobby and you win the game. Like that's like the feeling that, you know, people want to keep chasing.
Yeah.
And so allowing people to have games like that, so that they keep wanting more, I think that's like the combination of the two things that I think are really important.
And that got inverted. That's inverted right now in Fortnite. Whereas people don't trust there'll be a good end game, so they hot drop. And that makes everything worse.
Yeah.
Like that's totally inverted. They need to find a way to
change that.
To fix that effect. Because it's like, yeah, if you want the actual juice, you know, you go to a hot drop because you're just like the off spawn is going to be the juice, and I can't guarantee there'll be a good end game. That's what my friends always do, right? You know, we'll go to Anvil Square.
Just try to get as much actions now because the game will die out anyway.
Get none later. So
exactly
right. So but that's like that's
it.
That Epic needs to fix for sure. You're completely right.
That is it.
The juice is upside down.
The juice is upside down. That feels like a Stranger Thing related, but maybe not. All right. What is your? Give me some of your things you want to see.
All right, I'll start one off. You know, ask the question. First thing that came to mind is I want people to watch my videos. That's it.
We want people to watch resub videos in 2026. I want people to watch my videos. We do.
I have 7 now. I want people to watch resub videos.
Yeah.
But do you know? I was going to actually say something about YouTube videos and consecration before we get into this. It was so funny when we did the Comp Award show last episode. There was a bunch of comments, and there always is anytime somebody's going to on a podcast of people going, "Wait, is that the Clutch Up guy? Oh my god, I think that's the Clutch Up guy." And it kills me because the whole time we have the Clutch Up guy here, like the whole time, and like nobody has a clue. But as soon as they hear somebody's gun for like 30 seconds, they're like, "Oh, I think that's the Clutch Up guy, man. I love Clutch Up, man. Clutch Up's cool." It's like
somebody's gun just has such a good voice. Like, it's so good. It's like a radio voice for right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to say, oh, no, I'm just joking. That's obviously not a joke. You got to watch my videos. But I want content.
Is that a struggle?
To thrive. No.
I was going to say, is like, it's not a struggle for you because you're such an amazing content creator. But I know there has been a lot of conversations in like the Fortnite community of content creators where people are talking a lot about how numbers on long form content is down. Like numbers on Twitch streams and YouTube videos for Fortnite is currently down. Short form is still thriving. And I can't think of another medium, but anyway, short form still thriving.
And player accounts are doing well.
And player accounts are still thriving, right? So things aren't bad for Fortnite because people are still playing and people are watching short form stuff, but the long form content is down. So is there a struggle there right now, like in terms of watching videos, you know?
Yeah, let me get my perspective on this. I think is that the core casual audience isn't as interested in core casual concepts for the most part. So when I look at my extra channel as a good example, most of my extra channel I would say is probably just competitive viewers because, you know, each one gets like 50 to 100k, some a little more, but for the most part, like I think those are people who play tournaments, watch tournaments, or just like those pros. I for the most part, I don't get the idea that there's that many casual viewers on that channel. Obviously, there will be some, but I think for the most part, it's that. So as people have been talking over the last like year plus, or you know maybe mainly over last year, as like people have been saying, "Oh man, content's getting worse and worse." That channel's not really been affected at all because it's mainly staying in the core competitive audience. If you look at like Ozzy's channel, for example. Kind of very similar. Like his channel's always been. I've said this to Levin a few times. I often look at Ozzy's channel as a barometer for like how people are watching it because for the longest he was sitting at like 100k average per video every time he put one up. I think he's still at that now. I can't remember. I've not actually done the test in a while, but I'm pretty sure he's still there too. So like to me, all things point towards the fact that the actual competitive audience is still watching. There's
still holding
and they're
strong.
still doing they're still doing very strong. For me on the main channel, for the main channel long form videos. I also try to push all my content out to casuals. I try to really take the core casual and new audience, the CCN as they're called, as many people as humanly possible. Thank you very much. And I think, yes, like those casual players are just harder to grip now, as they always have been. But, the main thing is you just got to understand those three parts of the audience. If you're just staying to the the core audience, your core audience, it's not going to work. If you're just staying to the casual audience who isn't invested, you're going to miss out others. If you're just trying to get new viewers, you're going to isolate all your own ones. As a creator, you have to be very aware that there's 3 different types of audience, and if you're not creating content that fits all 3 of those, it's going to get less views. And obviously Nick30 was one of the people who's making the main tweet. I think like there's not a lot of, there'll be new people who are coming to watch his content, but they'll be younger people for the most part, because a lot of his content ends up being for the younger people. However, his core audience has probably grown up quite a lot, so he's maybe missing out that part of it. If you've been creating content for 7 years, your audience has grown up quite a considerable amount over the time. So that casual audience being less interested in long form content, I think it's like casual generally aren't as interested in casual content, and even in competitive content too. So you just have to, my personal experience is just work a little harder to make sure to get those casual viewers more interested in the content itself. And a numbers based result on that would be last year, a banger video was like, it's hitting 1 mil plus. A bad video is hitting like 400k. Crazy. I was like, this is great. I knew that wouldn't last, by the way.
This up.
Just so you know, I was like, I knew very well that's not going to happen. It's probably now like a bad video it's literally half. Like a good video, I mean, I was going to say, is it 500k? Say my evolution of cheating in competitive Fortnite. I'm like, that's going to be 1 million views, no doubt. That was in my mind when I made it. It's like 500k plus right now. So that's like half.
I mean, it still could have a good wind, right? Like,
it's still growing. Yeah. It's getting like, thank you. That's growing like 5 to 10k a day anyway, so it's still going. But the whole point is like, if I'd uploaded that last year, that would probably be double the views it is by now. And the not so good videos are doing like 200k. So what I would say is like viewership's probably halved on that main channel. However, I also think the peaks were just purely based on the fact that there was so much hype like a year ago anyway.
Game,
exactly.
OG and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we're still in a very good place. I think just as a creator, you have to work very hard to stand out, because there's so many people making content and so many different games out there that it's an attention economy. You have to make sure that you're actually selling a product that's worth investing in.
Yeah, you have to be really differentiated for a long period of time, right? Like Reese is always going to be super differentiated on quality, and because he's differentiated on quality, you can kind of like pick your format of video, whether it's like I became rank 1 in Scotland, banger, the story of Peterbot, the story of Swizzy, banger, or the mechanics of the pros, or kind of whatever format you do. But everybody knows when they click on your thing, it's going to be super high quality, and you're really differentiated on that. Like I think maybe this is like a something that I've encountered with Clutch Up is I thought I was really differentiated at first. I was like, oh, no one's kind of telling these like great tournament recaps, Fortnite stories, player biographies, etc. And then it turns out that like basically anyone can do that. So there was like a billion channels for it. Like once that was
I remember that. Yeah.
Once that was successful, there was like a billion channels that did that. And then I think
reading out Fortnite tracker results.
Or who are like way more like into like the kind of like the slob. This person is better than Peterbot now. Whatever. And, that works on. I'm sure people can like guess who I'm talking about, right? But that works on YouTube for sure. But I do think that
viewers lose trust.
Yeah, and because if you're not different, or like people are making the same video, three different people or 4 different channels are making the same video of like roughly the same quality. So unless you really stand out like Race, or you're really fast to come out, right? Like some of these like channels are like very fast at making videos. Like K-Dog like did really well because he's like so fast. Like the video comes out like within a few hours, right? So you can either be like really fast or really good, and then everywhere in between, like you'll have huge ebbs and flows.
Definitely. I'd recommend to most people, in my personal experience, that if it's your first video, it's not gonna be that great. But a lot of people are gonna do similar topics. Say, for example, you mentioned there's tons of people doing the same stories of all that kind of stuff. Yep. When I did the Peterbot story video, for example, I knew there was going to be like 10 different people who made that video, and I've told the story before. Like it's the biggest story of last year. I knew there's going to be so many people do it, but I knew none of them would really give a lot of depth into what actually happened, of like gameplay analysis, all that kind of stuff. So I put my video out 2.5 weeks after it happened, like after he won globals. And by that point, there's already, like, everyone else has already uploaded theirs and done stuff.
Yeah, there's Timmy, there's Clutch Up, there's Ace, there's whatever. Like
exactly, right? All those channels just, they're putting the content out. However, my video has like 4 million views now or whatever because it actually contains the story. Like, if you watch if you watch it a month later and watch like any compared to the others, like there's so much more depth and intricacy into my one. I'm not just trying to like self-glaze, but yeah.
On quality, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're someone who's worried about like uploading too late or whatever, you just make sure your video actually is good and it stands out. And then I don't think upload date really matters that much, to be honest. I think it's one of my
you just don't want to be in the middle, right? You either want to be the best video or the fastest video.
Yes.
And if you're the second best video and the second fastest video, which sometimes maybe Clutch Up does, then you're not going to see the kind of results as the fastest person's going to see or the best person's going to see.
Definitely. And I think the silver lining to all of it is, once you asked how do we feel about the whole landscape, just make some better videos. They'll do well.
Make some better videos.
100%.
Just a random thought that I had from a conversation we had the other day, Reese, is like a lot of people also underestimate in that whole like battle of like new viewers and retaining your audience. A lot of people underestimate how many new people have come into watching Fortnite in the past couple of years, which I'm curious about. If you've made it to this part of the episode, let us know in the comment section. When did you start watching competitive Fortnite and start really getting into it? And were you someone who was into it in the past? You took a long break and you came back. Like, what is your story of watching comp Fortnite? Teddy, do you have one for us?
Yeah. I started watching Fall Skirmish.
I was going to say like your thing you want to see this year. Didn't ask for your life story, but
sorry. Okay, you know what? I'm going to start, because this is episode 69. I'm going to go off the rails a little bit. We have the Chun-Li skin. We have the Kim K skin.
Who we adding?
Sydney Sweeney.
Yes. I am all for it. Yes. That is the one. That is truly the one. Oh, yes.
If Epic Games want to take this to $1 trillion company, they got to lock in, man.
They could sue Apple for another 4
centuries. Imagine how many lawsuits you can get into with the prizings from this.
Bro, I can imagine that meeting. Like, all the C-suite execs. Tim Sweeney stood there like, guys, we're running low on funds. The lawsuit against Apple, we're losing. They've sold too many iPhones this year. And someone waltzes in and they go, Tim, there is a solution. We add Sydney Sweeney. Boom! Explosion in revenue.
Mate,
that is it.
Imagine how much sweat on the forehead there would be of the designers of that skin, though.
You can't, okay, the funny thing about that, though, is they actually can't design that skin.
No, you can't.
Because you without
you can't put that in a game, man.
It,
you can't put that in a game.
You can't, because then if you don't, you
ain't getting the sales if you ain't making it realistic, man. There's just no way.
Oh my god, we are so cancelled in 2026, man.
No, we could do worse.
Sydney Sweeney, that's the one.
In the podcast, right?
Is there anyone else who could rival the Sydney Sweeney skin as an addition?
I mean, the fact that Kim K did so well, like, I can't believe. Obviously, I'm not surprised that people bought it, but the fact that it's like the #1 skin is, I wouldn't have expected that, to be honest. Yeah, it's a great skin to start with as well.
Everyone, it's so casual. It's also incredibly competitive, and it's a Guna skin. It's just the perfect balance.
When I was talking about the CCN markets, the core, casual, and new, that's the three markets of the skins right there.
It hits it perfectly. Oh man, okay, that's great.
Let's go for one of yours. Hopefully it's not
one of mine,
Sydney Sweeney related.
Well, I had a couple that I'm gonna fire off quickly.
Okay.
First one, get rid of 14 tournaments to have to play tournaments.
Why might that be 11?
Look, I wanted to play Reload Series this weekend, and I can't because I've not played tournaments, because I stopped playing tournaments last year after the Star Wars debacle. I was like, I'm not touching a Fortnite tournament again.
If only you'd grinded ranked that season, man.
I
Imagine
just
you being
know,
in a TIE
but I
fighter,
didn't.
so it would have been crazy.
I mean, I tried. I remember I played with you and DJ, and like you lot are running off with like DJ in the TIE fighter, you in the car running off, and I remember there was a point in one of those games where I'm just stood there. I'll never forget it. I'm stood there healing, and I'm just like, yeah, this ain't for me, man. These guys, I'm not on their wavelength. And then I think I came off the next game and I didn't play the rest of the season. I was like, it's not for me. So yeah, get rid of 14 tournaments. I hate that. And imagine just being someone coming back to the game who's just not a cheater, just a innocent guy who just wants to get back into it. For me to be able to play a tournament, right? So now I need to play, I think, like 11 or 10 tournaments to be able to reach 14 tournaments, right? I can only play, there's 3 rank cups a week. So it's going to take me a month to be able to actually play a tournament now. If I've come back to the game and I said, I want to play competitive Fortnite again, I want to get invested in the game, I want to spend my money on Fortnite, I can't play a tournament for a month. Come on, man. Like this can't be right, man. We got to find another way.
If nobody committed a crime ever, we wouldn't need police.
Oh, man. There's got to be a better way, Teddy. There's got to be a better way.
It's just the reality, right? There's like the
increased trust factor.
Yeah, I know. There's
do something.
Degenerate behavior that poisons the well for the rest of us.
Oh, it's
Sue
terrible.
more people.
Yeah, I guess. The next one that I want to see, and which we will be seeing, and it's an announcement. FNtasia will be rebranding. Woo! We will be changing. Some people already knew this because I've talked about it on stream last year a couple times. So basically, for context, and this is for the real listeners because you've made it this far into the episode. Remember last year when we kept making jokes about FNtasia being dead and we were ending it? That was supposed to be a meta joke because that was when we were supposed to rebrand. But then we didn't do the rebrand and we all just stopped being interested in Fortnite because it was Star Wars season and there was nothing to do. And so we just didn't do a podcast for like a month. And then we were like, oh crap, we told everyone the podcast is ending as a joke, but now we've actually just stopped making the podcast. So now people think the podcast is actually done.
The real meta was actually killing the podcast.
Yeah.
I have so many takes from that era in the chamber that just never said.
Never loaded into the gun.
Yeah, well,
the takes you don't say are the ones you regret the most, right?
They are the ones you regret the most. So basically, yes, FNtasia will be rebranding. I think we'll announce what we're rebranding to maybe next episode because I think we should be ready to change everything by like episode 71. So maybe episode 70 will be the last FNtasia episode. You'll know next week because if it is, we'll say. But yes, things will be changing. Some things will change about the podcast, but for the better, hopefully for you guys is the plan. Things will look and sound a bit different. It won't be FNtasia or FNtasia, whichever one you wanted to call it. It'll be
something you
else.
can Google and find it.
It will be something you can Google and find it, yes. Unfortunately, a lot of people always seem to point out to us that they search up FNtasia and nothing comes up. And, that was, God bless Bala and Shayo. That was something they did not foresee being a problem. And, it has remained a problem. I was naive. When I brought the podcast back, I was like, oh, this is problematic. But I'm sure it'll work itself out after we make like 70 episodes or something. Eventually, YouTube will figure it out. And that didn't quite happen. So
I think a main thing I should say is you should get it rebranded before next week because it would be great to end FNtasia on 69 and then restart a new podcast on 1. It would be like every 69th episode they're going to rebrand.
We're going to rebrand.
You got to stick with us for the next 69 episodes. It would be such a meta joke. And then if 6-7 is still around, we hit them with a surprise 6-7 rebrand next time.
Oh God! I mean, we have like a lot of the assets done. Maybe this could be the last episode, but I don't think so. I think we need to. I think it'll probably be 70. It'll be the last one.
Okay.
Maybe we just won't call it 70.
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm confident is not going to change?
What is not going to change?
The quality of the analysis and conversation.
Absolutely.
The humor and all around good vibes and good hang that
Absolutely.
we've developed here as a team.
Absolutely.
Right? And the joy and passion and love of the game, of both Fortnite and podding, right? Those things are not going to change.
Those things can never change.
Never.
They will never change.
That's
So
like
yeah,
Jeff Bezos, right? When he's planning Amazon, he's like, I know it's not going to change in 10 years. Customers are not going to want things to be more expensive. They're not going to want things to
Yeah.
be delivered more slowly, right?
Yeah.
Here are the things that are. We know that these things are not going to change. So we can with high confidence, we can build towards that.
Right. I didn't think about it like that.
If FNtasia was like a $10 trillion company, I wouldn't want to change either. I'll be honest.
Not be changing.
Yeah, but
Definitely not.
I'm just giving.
You get a
listeners-
couple more episodes a week as well if it was the case as well, to be honest with you.
The listeners have come all this way. We should give them a compelling mental model for which to, make decisions.
I often hear Levin say, I'm putting myself in the shoes of a CEO to figure out to drive this ship, and he's not in the millionaire mindset. He's in the billionaire mindset. He's
Right.
really, that's where this is going.
Mindset.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you
We'll
ready?
have
He's
more
asking
info.
that to himself as much as anyone else, right?
Okay, guys, fuck it up. We'll have more info about the rebrand for you next week, and hopefully next week we'll be able to announce the name and everything for you guys. But don't be alarmed when you see something that looks slightly different pop up in your feed. It'll be the same show, same people, kind of. I guess now that once we rebrand, Harry being gone will be he's actually gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So is that it? So are we, when we rebrand, are we announcing a new cast?
I mean,
that's
but
the
it's
thing.
like you have to think about it like this, right? The people who find the new podcast, they would have never known FNtasia with Harry. Like it would just be whatever the new podcast is. Like there are people who might have started listening in the past couple of weeks. They don't even. We keep referencing this Harry bloke, and they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Is that Veno? Yeah, he was on the episode.
Who is this? Yeah. So, I mean, shout out to Harry, man. Shout out to Harry. He might be back this year. He will be back this year, actually. Not Matt.
Yeah, as a guest.
Yes. As a guest host. All right, and then the last thing I really want to see this year. In 2026 is I want to see Peterbot not quit the game.
Yeah, that was one of mine.
That was also one of mine.
For it too.
I think his storyline concluded last year, right? He had 2024 where he was dominant. He was built up as the Goliath. He had some, topsy-turvy things happen throughout the year with close finals, great performances still, and then Globals was like the slaying of the giant. See, Peterbot can be beat, he had a dud, like it happened. And that was the conclusion of that. Everybody who wanted to see Peterbot dominate got to see that. People who wanted to see him finally be toppled got to see that. And so his character came to a conclusion last year. But I don't want that to be the end. I want I want there to be now a new chapter, a new book for Peterbot, right? Can this, because the thing is as well is that like, it would just suck for him to reach the point where people, I guess, somewhat unanimously agree he's the greatest Fortnite player of all time. And what he's done in the past 2 years has been amazing. And if now it's just like, all right, now it's done. And he's just going to sort of fade into the abyss and irrelevancy and gamble, do whatever the hell he wants to do. Like that would kind of just suck. I want at least another 2 years of getting to watch this guy do things at the top level. Whether he's winning or not is different, but I want him as a character to still be here because in Fortnite, we are missing characters. We don't create them rapidly enough to keep up with the amazing fan base and fans we have. We have a couple. We have guys like Mr. Savage and Mongo. We have Clicks. We have some on different levels like the Venos and other people of the world and the Boogers, etc. In the past couple of years, we got Peterbot, who's been an amazing character in many ways. I don't want to just lose that now.
It's like Alexander the Great, right? Alexander the Great, when he looked across his domain, he wept because there were no worlds left to conquer.
Right.
And what we need to find for Peterbot is we need to find the next area of conquest for him. Right, we need to wake him up and turn that on, and I don't think it should be Valorant.
It shouldn't be Valorant. Honestly, do you know what take I saw that was like an amazing take in my eyes? Was one from BloodX. Like I saw a clip of BloodX from a couple weeks back. I can't remember. BloodX,
Must be AI.
Must have been AI generated. No, but BloodX had a really great take where he basically said something along the lines of like, after like Globals or something, like Pete should have went to play with Clicks. Like that would have been the move. Like, and that's like Pete playing with clicks. You stream, you have fun, and you get clicks. His first FNCS win. Like for Pete, that would have like been fun enough to keep him still in it, right? Because he's clearly not ever gonna get back to the point he was at where he was just grind to be the best. That's done, right? But at least playing with clicks would have been fun to the point where it still gives him a reason to log on every day and enjoy the process of like the grind to some extent.
Viewership would be crazy too.
Viewership would be crazy. The storylines of like, oh my god, Pete, he's gonna get clicks his first appearances. It would be so much fun. It would have been perfect.
Would that feed more families than Mongrel and Savage?
That'd be such a Mickey FNCS win though.
But it would feed more families, and so it would just be. And sorry to repeat this for the trillionth time in Fortnite, it would be cinema. Like it really would be. Like it would be so entertaining. But obviously that ship's kind of sailed now because Clicks is clearly really locked in with Higgs, and Peterbot's kind of just like, so it's like that. It can't really happen now, I don't think. But that would have been the move. Like that was the thing to do. Play with Clicks, Peterbot and Clicks. It would have been so good.
Okay. So I agree. I'm sorry, go for it.
Okay, this is really quick.
Yeah.
You know, there was once a basketball player by the name of Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Okay.
You're so fucking dramatic, this guy, bro. Go on, tell us about him.
He won 3 championships in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you know, he felt that he had accomplished all he needed to, or maybe he got in trouble for gambling and the NBA didn't want to announce it.
Yeah.
And he went to play baseball. And he was quite bad at baseball relative to basketball, right?
Yep.
Maybe he could have made the MLB as kind of like a utility bench player, but nothing like the GOAT that he was in basketball.
Nothing.
Okay. 2 years later, he does a press release. It says 2 words, I'm back. He comes back wearing the 4-5, right? Number 45. He loses in the first round that year, and then he proceeds to go on another three-peat, right? Maybe Peterbot could do something like that, right? I want him to come back this year and play, but that could be cool too. That could
he has to fall off to climb back up.
Yeah. Go play Valorant. You know, it's not going to be as easy as when Benji Fishy did it.
No.
Then come back, you know.
Do people come back? I guess there's been a couple
if you peak, you come
done
back.
comebacks.
100%. I have
Mirror's making a comeback.
Yeah.
Mirror did do a comeback.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this this woke nonsense about the fact that Pete's leaving. Like, it's just about bollocks. It's just a drop off. I think at some point, especially with the amount of money there's like potentially to be made, even forget love of the game. Like the amount of future you can set yourself up for if you just grind for 3 years or 4 years or whatever in this game from his position. Like even if he started to fall off, if he had a mediocre grind and kept going, like he could still absolutely do insane.
Don't think that way.
I know.
People like us think that way because it's like, I would love to have generational
Yes.
wealth compounding for the rest of my life, right? And be super happy and then have freedom to do whatever I wanted with my time, right?
Teenagers are indeed stupid. That is a very valid conclusion to add to that. However, that's what causes the fall off, right? That's what causes, maybe I'm just going to stop playing for a bit. Maybe I'm going to not grind. Like, even if he spends 2 years of his life, like, falling off, not really doing much, playing the tournaments here and there, still relevant, still kicking about. At a certain point, he's going to be like, I'm locking in. And I still think then that's like, is going to kick back up. Whether that's this year, next year, the year after, I don't see this guy leaving at any point. Yeah. I think like the pool is too strong to have like a massive, like the opportunity here is too big to throw it away.
Yeah. I guess my thing is like, I'm not fearful of him truly leaving and fully stepping away. I'm fearful of him just like accepting like the mediocrity of like doing nothing and not really trying and like showing up half. Yeah, like I feel like we're already kind of seeing that with like the whole thing of him not even like trying to like play Reload Elite. Like he was like, yeah, I'm not coming back into FNCS, and it's like at least play Reload Elite series. You know what I mean? Like we'd love to see you back in Saudi doing your thing on that stage as well. Like, I mean, yeah, I
think he has one FNCS, and it's like he's so pissed. He's gonna be so back. I also think because Major 1 is a qualifier to the summit, like people aren't gonna trifle with that. Like sometimes they would with Major 1. Right, there's been great players in the past who have like kind of taken FNCSs off, like Mero did it before, and it's like pissed them off, and then they've like gone on to have a great rest of the year, right? That was like kind of what happened the year Mero won globals, right? He had a horrible one, didn't really seem like he cared that much, flirted with retirement, coin flip Cooper or whatever. Everyone knows that story. You know, I think that's probably like the worst case scenario for Peter, which is like he gets a wake up call when he doesn't just dominate in an FNCS, and then it turns the Jets back on.
I agree.
Yeah,
I actually have an alternative take though. I had an or in mind. When in my take here about things I want to see this year, I had Peterbot domination. That was one. You know, that's my thing. Or big block capitals. New player enters the GOAT debate.
Interesting.
Who could that be?
Because it can't be someone out of nowhere, right?
More than likely.
It would have to be someone who's on the periphery. So who are the candidates for that?
I hadn't thought that deep yet, I'll be honest.
Okay, great.
I'll toss them out, and you guys say yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what they'd need, and I'll tell you what we should do, Levin, is we'll say what they think they would need to do in order to actually get into this conversation. Whether or not we say they're the GOAT, but into the conversation.
Okay.
First, Poyo.
Win globals.
No, Poyo would need to win a lot as the leading man on his team and the clear leading man. He'd have to have like a Kobe type thing where like unfortunately he's been Kobe'd, where like he was playing with Shaq and everyone's like, Shaq is the best player in this repeat. You are the secondary guy. He needs to have his Kobe arc where Kobe went on to win championships as the leading man. That's what Poyo needs to be to get
that's not his position though. I think just to say as a supporter that you can't be number one. I think that's.
He can't. He's not been the protagonist.
I don't think you need to be though.
As much as GOAT debates are always about like accomplishments and what you did. There is a big part of it is like you have to have been the protagonist. Like you have to have been seen as the driving force of the success. And if you weren't seen as the driving force of the success, you end up in the situation where people go, yeah, you have a lot of like rings, you have a lot of accolades, but you know, the Peterbot was the best player on your team.
Yeah, but you can see
Aegis was the best player on your team for some of those other wins. Like you have to have been like the leading guy.
I think
at some point.
Poyo though, I'm not going to say you're the best player. I'm not going to say Poyo's the best player on that team because that's obviously not true. But like a lot of their success was because of the enabling of Poyo though. So like
that's different. That's not what we're talking about here.
No, I know.
We're talking about being the leading guy, like being being the guy on your team.
I think if you're
all
consistently
FNCS wins, you can look at someone who was the guy on their team.
Definitely.
And he hasn't had that yet.
But like, say if it's 60-40, right? Let's just hypothetically say Pete Poyle's 60-40, right? If you're the best person at being that 40% repeatedly every single time, I think you still have to be able to be put into that conversation. I don't think you need to be in the 60 all the time.
If Poyo wins with Rapid, I think he'll be credited as the driver of that win. Right?
For sure.
As the driver.
What's different as well for Poyo is the fact that Poyo is a good enough player to be that guy, which is what hurts. But that's the problem. That's what hurts him, that he's not been that guy. Like, perception is so important in these things because there's people who, if you didn't know anything about Fortnite, you would look at Poyo's resume and you'd go, how's he already not in the GOAT debate? Right? Yeah. Just on paper, just looking at his career. Yeah, like just looking at his career on paper, you go, oh, what the fuck? Like this guy's should be in like your GOAT debates. Why are you guys not putting him there? Right? The perception is important. And I think until he has wins on his own, not on his own, but figuratively, right, where he is seen as like the driving guy, he won't unanimously get that respect of this guy is someone that deserves to be in the GOAT debate over some of the other people ahead of him. That's what I feel.
Unanimously doesn't care because all we care about is smart people.
Exactly.
No, amongst the smart people though. Okay. Like I don't think the smart people unanimously would feel that.
I have a few more. I have 4 or 5.
Go on, give us some more names.
I'm going to ignore people who are out of their prime, but would be on the top 10 list. So that's like Booga, Miro, Tayson.
Well, they're out of the conversation right now for the most part. So
yeah, I mean, if any of those guys came back and won FNCS, like all of a sudden they're like automatically back in the debate because of just the comeback narrative and the accolades that they already have, right? So, but we'll leave those people out for now. Okay, here's my next one, Swizzy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a very good one.
Ooh, I don't know what Swizzy would have to do because he's obviously already won globals. You know, if you're talking about your driving force and who's the one that'll lead it, you know, you could say their global win was probably more Queasy led. Obviously, as the IGL, it was a very game plan. But you could also say that, you know, you could say if you replaced with a different IGL, do they win? Not sure. If you say if you replaced Swizzy with a different fragger, do they win? I think you're probably more likely to say Queasy was more important there. Hard to say. I think. I think if you win globals, I think there's a strong chance because a 2 times global win, I think we need to be at the point in Fortnite where we are very much so, putting a lot more importance onto the actual land wins and who performs in these. There's been a lot of years here, so I think they need to start having a little bit more weighting. He's done so much. I think has been probably relatively underappreciated. So I think you'd go into the debate if he started to go there. I don't think he's better than Peterbot now, but if you'd enter the conversation where I think you're starting to talk about it, I would say at that point to actually if he had a Peterbot Poyo year in duos, wins everything or wins both the lands or whatever.
Yeah.
I think now you've got a strong case for it.
Okay, here I'll throw a couple more at you. What about Harry P himself, Veno? Basically won FNCS every single year since 2022. Good LAN placements. He's definitely got the aura as a person who's popular, and people pay attention to kind of astroturf the conversation a little bit more.
He's also, I think one of the other things about Veno that I think is actually now probably starting to be underappreciated is the fact that his longevity has been very good. He has been around since doing well in Chapter 2. The All Stars was Chapter 2, it was 2021.
2021, yeah.
Dogs, we got the dogs.
The
yes. Dogs. The double dog cam, hell yeah. Oh, they're gone. No more.
I'm they're running off. Yeah. Veno is very hated, which hurts him because people don't want to give him credit in that same way. But his career stacks up with the best of them, and he is the best example of being a couple shots, a couple different things. He's literally 2 shots away from already being in this conversation, right?
Yeah.
If he had,
what if he won the
2 shots
All Stars against?
Yeah, if he had won, obviously it's if buts and maybes, right? But if he had won All Stars and he had also been come out on top at Invitational, his whole perception would be so different. People would look at him so.
That was so rude of you, Levin. I can't believe you said a couple shots away from being in the conversation. That's so literal, Just a couple of shots and he would have won.
It's literally a couple of shots.
I know.
I always make fun of him for this, but he's quite literally 2 shotgun shots away from being
winning 2 different events.
Yeah,
no, it is rough. Yeah.
I'm gonna list out 4 or 5 more names, and you guys just tell me if any of these do
have the. Yeah, I'll tell you if I'm just gonna tell you if I think they have the chance.
Yes or no.
Yeah.
Tell me stop. Okay. Vico.
No.
Cold.
No. Nah.
No.
No.
I honestly, I guess Queasy.
He's already in the GOAT conversation.
He's in the conversation. Yeah,
I think Queasy. It's probably Queasy and Poyo are probably 1A and 1B if they could actually take it over this year if they had a great year.
Yeah, I think Mero is probably a third show. I think maybe a bit below, but
I think any of the Bugha, Tayson, Mero, Cammy.
Yeah.
If they have a great year, those are the kind of
Yeah, I don't think we should rule out Cammy there. Cammy could have just another Cammy type year. Where
there's a lot of lands this year. This is going to be a big Cammy year,
Yeah, I mean, Cammy's. I think it's Cammy would be the top of that list as potential people to get in that conversation for me.
Above
because he was already Queasy's already there.
Oh, so okay, sorry, yeah, right.
Yeah. Queasy's already there. Cammy was almost there at a point. There was a point where I remember people were trying to put Cammy up there, and people were hey. I remember there was a point where people were is Tayson really the number 1 person from EU in that conversation, or is it Cammy that we should? So Cammy's already sort of on that periphery. A really good year for Cammy could put him in those conversations.
I think if someone surpasses Peterbot this year, it will only go on the longevity versus peak. And it's what do you value more? I think it'll be really hard to top. That's the LeBron versus MJ debate, which is LeBron's played way longer, stacked all these accolades, right? So it's LeBron's longevity versus Michael's peak, and basically everyone picks Michael's peak, right? Anyone.
Yeah, but LeBron's actually just better and had a better peak, but we won't really talk about that.
Just a very slight side top of this. As someone who does not watch basketball at all, it's so funny to me that LeBron is actually obviously considered one of the GOATs because all I know him from is just being memes. That is literally it.
I never thought about that perspective. Yeah, but LeBron is quite literally just a meme to non-basketball players.
I can't think of anyone else who would
I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody is leaving this year considered the GOAT.
Agreed.
outside
I
of
agree.
Peterbot.
Unless if they literally win everything, there's some.
I don't
players
think
who
anyone's
win
winning
everything,
everything.
Like,
No.
yeah, I don't think so either. But like, that's possible. They'll like fly up the. They'll like fly up the thing, but I don't think there's anyone else who's like.
So that was my point. Was I want someone else to enter the conversation. We've had a dull last year, 2025 for that was just so boring with it. We didn't really see much domination, and I think on the flip side of that, one of the things I actually want to see is I want to see an EU duo dominate in EU. I don't really, obviously, we could watch win globals as well, but what I want to see is like, say in trios last year.
That.
Well, what I was going to say is right. Say we had the Peterbot Poyo year, and then the narrative that was following that to start the year was going to be, we saw Veno, Vico, and Flixie start playing together. They're going to win everything. Yeah. And then they won the first major, and then didn't quite have, like, no one had the same kind of run that Peterbot and Poyo had.
Yeah, but I think you were forgetting, like,
no,
that can't be the standard. Like the Peterbot Poyo can't be like the level.
But what I'm saying is, like, I want a team to make a run that is at least somewhat comparable, where we can be like,
best team on
yes, I'm looking for a team who were like these two, this duo. They're just running away with it for a bit. I know it got really boring talking about Peterbot and Poyo for the entire year of 2024, but I fucking miss it, man. I want it. I want some of that for us, bro.
I think
about the competitive awards when we were trying to pick who's the trio of the year or the best EU trio. Like all the EU trios split votes because there was like an equally good case for each of them. Like I think on
there was a better case for one team. They just didn't win.
Fine. But
or did they?
But I think you want like what's the MVP duo of the year, and I think last year. Like Vico and Flixie were a better pick for that, and maybe Vanya and Swizzy. Like they were more consensus than anything.
2024
this year, and 2023. Let's go back to 2023.
But that's what I'm gonna say. The reason why I slightly now that you've clarified, I know what you mean more. But like I think Peterbot and Poyo have spoiled what it means to dominate because I think we've had teams dominate and like. In the traditional sense of like what domination always meant in foot. Like I think back to before Pete and Poyo in 2024, you looked at like, Queasy and Veno, right? That was a team that dominated. Like they had a really good FNTS win and then they had every other FNTS where they were like a contender and they were strong.
100%.
And obviously one thing we always do in Fortnite and a lot of it's like, it's everybody forgets what happens in between the grands. Because that's also important. That's also what makes like the whole Queasy, Swizzy, Mustache thing from last year somewhat disappointing because outside of the fact that they won globals, they were always dominant leading into finals and then didn't quite level. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we've had
Peterbot was 6 of 6 Cash Cup games.
That's what I'm saying. Like last year we had domination.
Eliminations in a solo Cash Cup.
Yeah, like
doing all this stuff, right? That
it's just not in the same way that Pete and Poyo did it because they didn't close out of the globals. But like I think we've seen people dominate and we've seen teams dominate over the past like year or four in 2025. It's just like different.
Let me reword it.
I want a consensus MVP in EU.
I don't want a consensus MVP. I want a team with some fucking motion. That's it. I want going into globals. I want us to have like the most emotion-filled aura-based team where everyone's like, "These guys are the best in the world. They're gonna win it unanimously."
I mean, like that would be nice. It's weird because like a part of me feels like we had that almost, and we messed it up.
With Vanya?
No, in Fred's trio. But
how did we mess that up though? I don't know about that.
As in, like they were conned, so like we like like their form and momentum going into globals last year was unbelievable. It was like that level of team where you're like they're like one of the best trios in the lobby.
But I want you to be they're the best. Like I want there to be hype behind that. I want there to be like, these guys are gonna win. That's it.
I think they suffered from just like the newbie bias.
Yeah.
Like if Vico, Veno, Flixie did what Fred, Chino, and Pablo did, like if you just swapped the names, everybody would have been saying that about Vico, Flixie going into globals. Everyone would have been going, this is the best EU team. If they weren't con, they'd be winning globals. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the name bias, I feel like hurt them a bit. But
I think, that's true.
I agree with you. I do want to see like, in the past couple years in EU, we've had it be a bit closer of like, there's a couple teams you could say are the best, but like having like the team who is like, the juice, because it was supposed to be Vico, Veno, Flixie last year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right?
It was going to be. Yeah.
No,
Like we thought that was the super team, and it didn't quite pan out.
EU is weird though. Nobody's dominated EU since like Tayson in 2020, 2021. Like nobody has won multiple FNCSs in the same.
But like dominate, like that's what I'm saying. That's why like I feel like the word dominate is like, how are we using that? Like,
hey, I just wrote it down, man. I'm just putting on the sheet, you know.
Like teams have dominated.
Yeah.
Multiple FNCS wins, consensus best team or players all year, right? Like if you think back,
because that's the thing. Like it's the only thing that's missing for some other people is just multiple FNCS wins. There have been teams who have been the consensus best over the course of the year and dominated tournaments and had really great finals performances and won one FNCS, but didn't quite win. Another one. So it's like, but those teams still dominated.
But NA you have, it's different, right? You have Peterbot and Poyo, unbelievable run. You have Good Miro's three-peat, chapter 2 to chapter 3. Like there's more dynasties, and there's definitely more storytelling that you can do around dynasties. Whereas, like since Tayson, and his kind of run from when he won solo FNCS in season 3 of chapter 2 to Grand Royale, like there hasn't been a dynasty like that on EU since then. There's been lots of great players, and it's probably the stronger region compared to NA, but there hasn't been a pure dynasty like that, and I think that would be pretty cool.
I'm trying to think if I agree.
Would you not want like one team to like be an absolute unit through EU, or are you just trying to get something that's weird?
Oh no, I would want that.
Yeah,
I'd want that. I just think I think there hasn't been like the clear dynasty, but I think there has been two teams who had that same level of aura in Cami and Seti and Queasy and Venno.
But
I think they both had that same. Cami and Seti didn't even win in FNCS. They just won the LAN, and they had that. But they were really good at multiple LANs. Queasy and Venno won one, but they were like the two best players in the region.
But
like, or the best team in the region.
Right? They dominated that season too, way back in the day, and then they just.
I'm familiar.
They got contested.
There are my whole talking points for like fucking a year and a half. That was about it.
Henman, generational. What a player that guy was. Yeah. All right. Well, let us know in the comment section below. What do you want to see in competitive Fortnite this year? What's one thing? If you can only have one thing, let us know what it is in the comment section below. We will see you all next week. Yeah? Yeah.
I have one more. I want it to be a great year for Gingers. Rye, Yamzo, Harry, Teddy Moss. There's a few, right?
If you guys start picking up motion, I'm going to dye my hair so I can get some more views.
Just ride the bandwagon.
Yeah.
All right.
A trend
I'd love to see that. I could see you, Ginger.
My brother, I have ginger genetics. I just dodged him a bit. Like my brother's got a really ginger beard. His whole beard is, and I missed it. So it's in there. Every Scottish person has like a dormant gene that can activate, like the X-Men at some point.
I have some Scottish in me.
I was gonna say, isn't Teddy a bit Scottish?
Yeah, most ginger people are either Scottish or Irish. So yeah.
I have some German, some Swede.
Damn, all over the place. Globetrotter. Yeah. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.